What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to season 2 of La Banca Podcast. I'm your host, Mark, aka Marquinho, aka Ches Segovia, alongside my co-host Fidel. What's going on, bud?
Hey man, what's good? We're back again, New Year's and everything else. I know we did a little recap of what's going on about soccer last week, but we're back at it again, season 2 with La Banca Podcast, and we're ready, man. Soccer all the way.
Yeah, man. It's funny. We took a little hiatus because work, vacation, holidays, etc., etc. It is crazy how many people ask me, "Hey, man, when y'all coming back? Are y'all coming back? Are y'all coming back?" This and that. It's crazy to see that. We do this as a hobby. Just something fun amongst friends, whatever, and whoever shows up, right? So it's great to see the love and support out there when we're out there doing, hanging out, whatever. People come up to us and be like, "Hey, when y'all gonna do this again?" And here we are, season 2. Um,
Definitely.
so I mean, but yeah, man. Obviously, we did a little bit of a recap over the transfer window. We tried to do more clubs, but we only ended up doing 2, which was Barcelona and Newcastle. So those videos are up for you to check out, guys. Give it a like and check it out. Leave a comment about the opinions that we had about those 2 clubs and their winter transfer window. But we're gonna talk Champions League, man. Champions League is right around the corner, round of 16. The biggest tournament in the world, honestly, aside from the World Cup, I guess. But it's crazy, man. The big games. How many big teams there are, and then when you pair them up against each other, it's just, man. There's a lot of interest, a lot of fan bases that get together, and then just a lot of excitement as far as the soccer world, man. I know we're gonna talk about a couple games here that are really high intensity, a lot of attention towards them, and we'll see what happens. But we're gonna start off with a couple small games, man. And obviously the first game on deck for this will be Tuesday, February 15th, which is Sporting Lisbon of Portugal versus current Premier League holders Man City. Pep Guardiola versus Sporting Lisbon. Fidel, do you think Man City is going to run away with this and just go?
All
We're
the
looking,
way.
looking ahead to the next round, or what's going on?
I think this story's already been written, man. You can't go bad in second guessing on what's going on. I mean, money talks, and Guardiola is one of those coaches, is to me, of course, who's amazing, who's great, but has always had an open wallet. Has always had great talent because of that money. And then you have a sporting team who's currently in second in Portugal, and it's about to play their Clásico against Porto. So at the end of the day, man, I just don't see a chance for Sporting to go anywhere with this. Man City's been playing an amazing kind of game. As long as Guardiola doesn't start his little experiments, I think he'll be fine. And Man City would just walk its way into the next round of the playoffs in Champions League. I just don't see a way for Sporting to create any kind of damage there or any kind of surprises. So I'm going Man City all the way.
No, obviously it's easy to say, Man City's going to run with it. Obviously you look at every position, they have a top-notch player, someone on there that would be the number one player on sporting team any day of the week. But the funny thing about it is, year in, year out, whether it's Sporting, whether it's Porto, Benfica, when they're in it, these Portuguese teams are tough, man. They're really tough to get out there, and they have a lot of pride. They're not the champions of their leagues for no reason. And the fact of the matter is that they're sometimes they can be a tough out because they do play as a team, they play as a cohesive unit and things like that, and they know how to play well. Now the talent might not be there, or it might be up and coming talent because we know that a lot of the top 5 leagues poach off the Portuguese teams to get their future stars and things like that. But with that being said, I don't see how Man City doesn't roll over Sporting and continue and move on to the next round of the Champions League. To be honest, if this aggregate score isn't something like 8-2 or 7-1 or something like that, it'd be a little bit of a disappointment. But with all due respect to Sporting and and all their fans out there, I know it's a great history, a great club, and things like that. But Man City's a whole nother level. I mean, these guys, every year we try to find a reason to count them out. But they keep winning Premier League titles. They keep winning their cups. They keep dominating. And the only thing still waiting in that cabinet, that trophy cabinet, is this Champions League. This
Yeah.
Champions League. The reason why they brought Pep Guardiola in. So, I mean, what do you think? Do you think this is the year for them?
I think so. I think this is a more focused team. I think this is a hard team to guess, just because, I mean, you're not really dependent on your forwards. The way Guardiola set up this whole tactical game, which he always surprises us to come out with something new. I think this is what's so great about coaches. That they don't just see the game in a certain perspective and follow that perspective for the next 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 years that they've always played the game or seen the game being played. Guardiola is always reinvented. That 4-3-3 hadn't been used a lot until Guardiola actually started, showing that type of style of game to the world. And once Guardiola saw that being perfectionated by Barcelona, everybody else wanted to play a 4-3-3. Even its counterparts, Madrid, started playing a 4-3-3. So at the end of the day, you got a team that doesn't really depend on a forward. So anybody that's playing midfield, I'm sorry, it's gonna destroy you. It's gonna score. It's gonna put the ball up behind the net, and man, it's incredible to watch just how the heroes don't always have to be the forwards or anybody playing out top. It could be anybody on the field, and that's the way soccer should be.
Mhm.
We talk about examples, right? Ramos, to me, has been the hero for Madrid for his last 2-3 years, ever since Cristiano left, or even before that. He was
Yeah.
the guy that when it was clutch, he could score, and he was a defender. So at the end of the day, anybody on that field that steps in for Man City can score, can win the game, and can just have an MVP type of game. It's just the way Guardiola develops the game for them. Everybody's it's for themselves. And today's your turn to shine, and you're gonna shine, and that's what it is.
And it's funny because you speak of the 4-3-3, and and most of the times when I think of 4-3-3, you think of a top three with a number nine that's dominating and scoring goals, left and right, like a Lukaku or Lewandowski or or a Holland, right? But Man City, I mean, even when they had Aguero, which they're number nine, they're playing false nine.
Yeah.
They don't have that dominant nine that goes out there and bodies everybody, and and goes and go gets that ball to score the goal. They have a number nine like Aguero who can move around, and even though Aguero was physical for his size, he was able to move around, shoot from outside the box, play with the ball, hold the ball up like a number nine should, but also able to create as well.
Hmm.
And whether it's Gabriel Jesus or Ferran Torres when he was there before he went to Barcelona, or even what's the kid's name, Mares, or or Sterling, whoever. If you put one of the wingers up there as a nine, as a false nine, that they know the job that they need to do. They go up there, they create. They're a creator more than just a prolific scorer as a number nine should be. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I think Man City moves on to the next round, so I don't think we should spend that much time here, because obviously the next game that we're gonna talk about, we're gonna spend a little bit more time of, and obviously like our other counterparts who were with us in the show earlier for Spanish, them being fans of this team, obviously they had a lot to say. So check out that Spanish show if you want to check out to see what they said. But we're gonna talk about this game, and it's obviously it's man, it's such a huge game for different reasons, But obviously we're talking about PSG versus Real Madrid. February 15th, Tuesday, that same day, as alongside with the Sporting Man City game. But before I get to you and your opinion on who's going to win this matchup, Fidel, I mean, just the aspect of Messi returning to Spain, Neymar as well, Ramos returning to Santiago Bernabeu, playing against his old team, things like that. Just all those different subplots away from just the game itself, which is a big game in any year, because it's PSG versus Madrid, two of the biggest clubs in the world at present day football. What do you think about all the other subplots and all the other things aside from the game at the moment?
I mean, we think about Mbappe coming to Madrid, right?
Mbappe.
Are you gonna really score 3-4 goals for PSG before you go to the team that you really want to go to? Like it's crazy, right? So yeah, it's a lot of things that contribute to it. I mean, who's more hungry than Messi, right? Who's more hungry than Ramos, right? They didn't want to sign you again, and even Neymar. I mean, that was a classical for them. That's just
Yeah.
where you want to go and win and not lose, no matter what, right?
Hmm.
So that's the reason I think that's why I see PSG over Madrid by far, and not just that. I mean, it's just I just don't see Madrid really having a way to step up in any way, in offense or in defense, against a PSG who's just so explosive. Uh, we talk about personally how players feel towards certain clubs, and as a coach, me myself, I know there's certain teams that I just don't want to lose to. And
Mhm.
I know that the other team could have a better team than me, but I still don't want to lose, and I'm gonna find a way tactically to not lose. And this is how these players are taking this so personally. It is a personal thing. It is a
True.
personal thing for Messi. It is a personal thing for Neymar. It's probably in the head of Mbappe. Is definitely in the mind of Ramos if he does
Ramos.
get some playing time. But at the end of the day, it's business. The sports. It doesn't matter how good a team has treated you or has been to you or how it will be for you in the future. In the case of Mbappe, you still have a contract and you still have to abide to what team you wear the jersey from, right? So these guys are gonna come out there and they're gonna put as much effort as they can, and I think so. I think by far PSG is gonna take over Madrid, and it's gonna be a shocking for a lot of people, but I think it's gonna be by far. I see a very high scoring game on behalf of PSG, and I think this is a downfall for Madrid for real.
No, I mean, you look, man. Before we even talk about the game, I mean, just think about it. Obviously, if you hear our Spanish broadcast, whatever and stuff like that, you hear our counterpart, Little Man, talk about how Messi hasn't scored in the last five Clásicos that he played in and things like that. But just imagine the storyline if Messi returns to Santiago Bernabéu and has a hat trick, takes off his PSG jersey, and again, just holds it up, to let them know who Daddy is, to remind them who Daddy was, just something like that, or Ramos scoring the game-winning header to qualify PSG past Madrid, something like that. Imagine something like that happening. Just the plot twist and the climax that would cause, you know. That's the great thing, That's the good thing about super teams. There's bad things about super teams, right? And the good thing about these teams that go out there and they're trying to buy their way into history books, like PSG, Man City, right? And then you have those clubs who are historical because of what they are and the longevity, like Madrid, Barcelona, etc., etc. When they clash like this, especially in modern football, it's great to see. As far as like just the balances and and the subplots, like I said again, and just what could happen, the possibilities of it. Now it could be boring, and one team can outshine the other team, and they win 10-2 on aggregate, and that was that. And this whole hype thing was just that, it was all headlines, 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 but there was no plot.
Right, right.
But then again, it could be one of those things where, hey, it goes 3-3, and they're going to penalties to go to see who goes to the next, who goes to the next round, right?
Right, right.
It could be either or. That's the fun thing about this, and with these two teams, obviously both teams leaders in their respective leagues, you know, they have cushion right now to really focus on this game. Obviously, Madrid is dealing with a huge injury to Benzema, who's their leading goal scorer in La Liga and on Madrid, obviously. But they have an upcoming player in Vinicius Jr., who obviously this year he's shown up. He's shown why he was. They spent those $50 million to bring him over here, to bring him over to Madrid. And we'll see if he can provide the spark needed in case Benzema's not there. But it's going to be real tough for a young guy, even though Vinicius is showing true signs of superstardom. It's going to be tough for him going against Marquinhos, Hakimi, Ramos if he's starting. Players of that nature. You
Yeah.
know, it, Go ahead.
I'm sorry, but I don't know. I've been thinking about this game for so long. Like, just think about it, right? I mean, obviously they had to be a drawing, right?
Hmm.
So they ended up facing each other, but Madrid's under so much pressure. I mean, I'm not saying they put themselves in this situation, especially with the whole Ramos thing, right? You didn't want to re-sign him because Ramos thought he was worth a certain amount, and they didn't want to value him at that amount. You know what I mean? But at the same time, you think about it, right? You have Ramos coming over, you have Neymar coming over, you got Mbappe coming over, you got Messi coming over, and this guy's been business. So how scared are you? How pressured are you? How are you gonna stop this guys? It's like it's an elite top three guys up top, and if obviously if Neymar gets to play, because he's just coming back from an injury, but at the same time, it's like, man, is so much pressure on these players, and Obviously they probably don't take it personal themselves, but the club does.
No,
And
and speaking about pressure, look, you could put it, you could flip it on his head and put it on the other foot. PSG, they went to go get Messi. They got Ramos. They got Wijnaldum, Donnarumma, Hakimi. They brought all these high level players for one objective and one objective only: to win the Champions League.
that's right.
And just imagine if Madrid is the team to knock them out like that. That's oh man, you if you have Madrid fans, guys, block them because for that next week
It's gonna be
they're gonna be hounding you on everything, social media, phone calls, whatever, however way they can get in contact with you. They're gonna be on it about and they should be. I mean, it's pride, right?
yeah.
They're Madrid fans. Love them or hate them. When they're doing good, they're barking it up, this and that, and when they're doing bad, they're quiet in a fetal position. But
Yeah.
but I mean, it's great to see what's gonna happen. But but what's your thoughts, man? What's gonna happen? PSG, Madrid.
I see a PSG taking over, man. I see them scoring 6 goals, maybe not in one game, but in both games put together. I wouldn't even think if Madrid scores one or two, but I just see a PSG so explosive, so motivated, so so wanting to just get through this round and get through this round with a lot of trust, a lot of convincing form of telling other teams, look, this is our year, and there's nobody stopping us. And I don't care if you're Madrid and you won 13 throughout the whole history, but this is ours this year. So I just see PSG above Real Madrid no matter what this year, for sure.
Yeah, man. Look, I'm gonna go in the same boat with you as well. I mean, look, PSG. I mean, this team just so stacked with talent. And one more thing before I tell you who I go with, or before I give you my predictions. What if Keylor Navas is in goal?
Oh, that's what I was thinking too, bro.
Oh man,
He knows
yeah.
his guys. He knows where they're gonna shoot. He knows what they're gonna do.
Look, man. Look. For those who know me, I'm a Barcelona fan to the fullest. Madrid, I don't care. I don't give two shits about Madrid, right? But Keylor Navas, to me, honestly, for those who don't think it, I believe he's a Madrid legend. You know,
Yeah,
and the
he
way
is.
the way he was shoved out the door because they wanted Cota, man, it was a damn shame. Keylor Navas, I hope he gets the opportunity to shut down Madrid and help PSG advance on. But my prediction, I think in Paris it's going to be a PSG win 4-2, and in Madrid it's going to be a 3-1 PSG win with hopefully a Messi hat trick.
That's a lot of goals. That's a lot of
That's how it
goals.
goes. That's how it goes. But man, I mean, I'm looking forward to that, man. I know little man's gonna hit me up. See, if he's not working, whatever. I know
I-
gonna
i-
have other.
If this really happens, either one of our predictions happens, we will not hear from
Oh,
Little Man in a month, bro.
I know. Trust me. I know. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. But we're going on to Wednesday, man. Obviously, Wednesday night. Wednesday night in Europe. We're gonna see RB Salzburg, sister club to RB Leipzig versus
Mhm.
Bayern Munich. Um, it's an interesting matchup, Fidel. In the sense of for those who are not too familiar with RB Salzburg, they're an up and coming club, and as far as European, total of the overall outlook of European football. I mean, obviously they're under the whole Red Bull branch or whatever. RB Leipzig, RB Salzburg, New York Red Bulls here in America, MLS, and other clubs around the world, right? But RB Salzburg, man, they've been champions of Austria for the last 2 years, and right now 15 points ahead of the second place team at that league right now, looking to three-peat as far as league titles go. They have potent players up there, players that are who next year we might see in the Premier League, who we might see in the Bundesliga or La Liga. So I wouldn't say it's going to be a walk in the park for Bayern Munich, but I mean, Bayern Munich is a well-done machine. We know that machine runs well, and it keeps going and going and going. It keeps applying that pressure. No matter who you are, you can be the best in the world, or you can be the sorriest team in the second division of whatever and for the Pokal Cup. They're gonna put that pressure on you, and they're gonna score goals however way they can.
Definitely.
I'm witness of that. Obviously, everybody reminds me of the 8-2 Barcelona loss to Bayern Munich. But I mean, Bayern Munich is not scared to put it on anybody, and
Yeah.
Salzburg is not going to be an exception to that. What do you think, Fidel?
So you're talking about Brandon Harrison, the American U.S. national player who's been wanted by Leeds United, right?
Mhm.
Karima Dayani, who's been wanted by Borussia Dortmund, right? To replace Haaland because obviously Haaland is leaving. A Salzburg that really has talent, has a very good amount of money, but there's just nothing that seems possible to take over Bayern Munich's discipline, tactic, or just style of the game. This the German system of playing the sport of soccer is just so disciplined and organized that making mistakes is just not part of their game. They focus on just taking care of the game as simple as possible. I was in Frankfurt one year, and I went to go see Frankfurt played. I forgot who it was. I think it was Stuttgart or I forgot who it was that they were playing, and I noticed that either team, when we looked at the stats, they had a very minimal amount of missed passes.
Mhm.
It was just so perfectionist at that, and I think the Germans focus on that just because they know that the least amount of mistakes they make is gonna go into the stats of showing how much the outcome of the game is going to be played, right? So the least amount of mistakes, the least amount of opportunities you give to the opposite team, right? So at the end of the day, you look at Bayern, which is the team in Germany has the more money, the most amount of money, who they don't just go out and get crazy amount of players just because they have the money, but they get what they need,
Mhm.
right? I think Guardiola said this one time for Barcelona. I said, why don't you spend more money? Well, because we just spent on what we needed as a team, right? And so Bayern follows the same philosophy. They don't go out and spend crazy amount of money on players just because they know if we're missing a key piece, whether it's a sub or a starter, we're gonna get that. But that's it. We're not gonna go out like Madrid and Man City and PSG, who it's just because the name makes quality advertisement or whatever.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, is a well-run organization of Bayern Munich. We've seen them win the Champions League very few amount of times, but at the end of the day, they know what they want to bring to the table, and they're gonna bring it. And Salzburg is just no competition for them, no matter what. I just don't see them in any way motivated or some way somehow just be this whole shocker of a tournament in the Champions League, and I see Bayern Munich just coming on top by a lot, really.
It always seems that Bayern is one of those teams that a lot of people will pick as far as favorites to win the Champions League because, like you said, they're about chemistry, who
Hmm.
fits the team for what they're trying to do at that particular moment, right? They might lose a big player. They might lose Frank Redby.
Right,
They go and replace him with Leroy Sané. You know,
right,
they might lose Aaron Robin. They go and bring a Coutinho in from loan from Barcelona, who's not doing too well over here, but he fits the scheme that they're doing over there, right?
right.
But it's one of those things where they're as far as big clubs by name, Bayern Munich is right up there with Madrid, Barcelona, Manchester United, things like that. But their philosophy is a lot different, like you say. I mean, they're more focused on the pitch performance. They don't care about the advertisements,
Hmm.
about the glam, that the glamorous thing like PSG, Madrid, things like that. You they feel that, hey, if we go out there and win, we're gonna be the biggest club in the world, and that advertisement is gonna come by itself because of what we do on the pitch, not because of who's wearing our jersey or our
Hmm.
kit. You know, Bayern Munich is always before the name on the back, which is it should be true for every team in the world, right? But yeah, with that being said, I mean, obviously, man, Salzburg. If it wasn't against Bayern Munich, I would love to give them a fighter's chance of maybe going in the next round. If they were playing against maybe a Inter Milan or if they got Sporting Lisbon, Lisbon or whatever. Obviously,
Right.
I would give them a fighting chance. But against Bayern Munich, man, yeah, I find it damn near impossible for them to move on. So I'm gonna go with Bayern Munich. But you know what? I'll tell you this, man. Is somehow, some way, because I don't want to disrespect the Salzburg fans out there. If there's anybody out there from repping the Red Bulls in Austria, if somehow they happen to pass by Bayern Munich, man, I'm gonna go buy me a Brandon Harrison RB Salzburg jersey. So, and I'll wear it, and
uh,
I'll eat that crow, man. But
you
but I
gotta
mean,
go watch one of those national teams from the U.S. in the cold for
yeah,
sure. Dude. You gotta go to Minnesota or Denver or wherever they're at in Indiana. I don't know,
yeah,
but
man,
it's true. We got to do this.
it's crazy, it's crazy.
Let's
But
put that on the bucket list. Next qualifier, we're gonna be out there.
oh yeah, for sure. Go out there in a little muffin, mittens,
Hmm.
and cover up and all this stuff. Go see a snow game.
Yeah, you go.
But the last game, and last but not least, man, this is a battle of heavyweights, of European heavyweights, man. Brands that everybody in the world knows if you know soccer. Big players that played in these clubs. They're currently battling it out to win another title in their respective leagues as well. And we're obviously talking about Inter Milan versus Liverpool. Um, Inter Milan, for those who don't know, obviously who don't follow Serie A a lot, because Italian football is kind of like a little bit in the back burner right now, just for whatever reason, just for the style of play of Italian football, the way it is more, you know, uh, they're leaders right now in the Serie A. They just lost the Clasico against my AC Milan, so I'm happy about that. So let's not let me a round of applause to AC Milan for
Right.
that. But yeah, they're ahead right now. I believe by a point or two, but with a game in hand over AC Milan, or over AC Milan and Napoli, um, in the Serie A right now. And Liverpool is they're a little ways behind from Man City in second place for that Premier League title. But they get two reinforcements back that came back from the final of the AFCON tournament. Sadio Mane, who obviously won with Senegal, and Mohamed Salah, who ended up losing in that game with Egypt. Fidel, you get your two best players back, get them fresh, ready to go. What do you think? Does Inter Milan have a chance against Liverpool, or is Inter Milan, or is Inter Milan back to being a big club that can make some noise in Europe again?
I'm excited about this one, man. Remember back in the days when we were a bit younger, and I'm talking
Mhm.
about 10, 15 years ago, when it was just Inter Milan and Milan, that was just,
Yeah.
it was so much tradition. It was so much passion. You wouldn't even hear about like Juve unless they were doing something dirty. Like, that's why they got relegated for 3 years and stuff.
Yeah.
But man, this is just exciting, just to see these teams up in the top fight in Italy. By the way, Inter is 53 points, and then you have Napoli and you have Milan with 52. So they're really, really tight. It could have been anybody, right? But at the end of the day, I think this is going to be the surprise of the tournament at this stage of the Champions League's playoffs. I see an Inter Milan being very defensive, but again, fortunate enough to be able to attack Liverpool, because I mean, I think this is a Liverpool that's going to go to try to get Inter by surprise, but they're going to get surprised themselves. Inter has the quality defenders, it has the quality mid, and it has a good amount of speed up top to be able to put some pressure on these defenders of Liverpool. But yes, Liverpool does have a great coach. It does have a great lineup, and again, you have a Sané and a Salah that are just coming out of their African Cup final with a lot of demands, physically, right? So will they be ready? I mean, will they need any rest? I think so. I do. The African Cup is not an easy cup to win. It does ask so much of you in any way and every way possible that you can think of. The demand is just physically so much. So for you to get back to England and get back to your club and give so much of yourself to your club, it's gonna say a lot. I don't even know if they're gonna be able to play this weekend for Liverpool, but Liverpool has a lot of weapons as well. But I just think this is a surprise. I think Inter will be able to play this very tactically. The Italians are known to defend very well, such as the Portuguese as well, and to be able to get you on a counterattack. And that's what we're going to see most of the game. And I think Milan will probably take 2-1 at home and then 1-0 away at Anfield. So this is the shocker and the surprise for me as an opinion.
I think obviously of these four matchups, I think this is the most balanced one.
Hmm.
Um, but man, it's one of those things where, like, obviously, if Sane and Salah still need a little bit more time to rest, because obviously they reached the finals of the Afcon Cup and tournament and all that stuff. That's okay. I mean, they have reinforcements, and Diego Jota, Luis Diaz, who just debuted for Liverpool today against Leicester City. Um, you know, top talent. You know, they have top talent all the way around. Um, Obviously, we know what Roberto Firmino is as a number nine. We know what kind of defense they bring up. We know Virgil van Dijk, you know, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Andy Robertson, Joe Gomez, you know, Matip, depending on how they rotate that back, those two center backs or whatever back there. The midfield with Thiago, Dean Henderson, you know, just it's a stacked team, stacked team, you know. And I mean, and Inter Milan is no pushover either. I mean, you know, you got big players for Milan as well, but I think it's one of those things where I think the physicality and style that Liverpool play and the pressing that club likes to play is going to be a little bit too much for Inter. I don't think it's going to be a steamroll. I think Milan might even take the game at home. You know, by the minuscule of margins, maybe a 1-0 or a 2-1, you know, win for Milan at the San Siro. But but I think overall, I think Liverpool will dominate, especially in Anfield. I think that's going to be the key game for Liverpool if they go out to on their own home pitch and just dominate and batter them. Let's say a 3-0 win or a 3-1 win at that. I think the match in Italy isn't going to matter at all. So that's what I'm looking at, man. And I'm thinking Liverpool's going to go on, especially, it's one of those things where like the Premier League title, it's even though they're not out of it yet, I mean, the way Man City is playing, they're kind of Liverpool could start to focus on the Champions League,
Right,
So
right.
that's one of the things. And like you mentioned earlier, Inter Milan is leading right now by 1 point over Napoli and AC Milan, and they just lost a Clasico against AC Milan, like I mentioned earlier,
Right.
So I mean, they have a little bit of other stuff going on that they need to obviously make sure that they get accomplished. So we'll see. I mean, we'll see what happens. I mean, sometimes we think that the team coming in with a lot of pressure on them because they have a lot of high intensity games going on at the same time might have the disadvantage, but sometimes they might have the advantage because they're so amped and up for these games. Because I mean, this is the reason why you play, right? I mean, if I was a professional soccer player, these big matches is the reason why I want to play. These big crowds, stuff like that. I mean, that's the reason why not to play a Clasico and then next week go play a Champions League game. That's what you live for. That's what you play for.
Exactly. Yeah,
So,
you're right. You're right. I think
so-
both teams have so much to give. I'm sorry.
Mhm.
And it's gonna be interesting. This is gonna be the one game that I really want to watch, other than PSG and Real Madrid. So I'm looking forward to it, man. This is gonna be on Wednesday. So um,
So
be
you
ready.
taking Inter?
Oh, I'm taking Inter all the way. Yeah.
All right, I'm taking Liverpool, man. So we'll see well next week who's right. Obviously, it'll be the home. It'll be the away fixture, but yeah, man, guys. Obviously, we know that the English show is a little bit abbreviated from the Spanish show. We're coming to the end of the first episode of season 2 of La Banca podcast. Like I said, guys, I mean, we're back from vacation, from holidays, or whatever you want to call it. And we're excited. We're excited. We're renewed, fresh, new energy. Looking forward to these new games, Champions League games, not only, but obviously going in depth with La Liga, Premier League, Serie A, whatever you guys want to talk about. Let us know in the comments. If there's a random team out there, it doesn't matter, man. We love soccer. We love watching soccer for all parts of the world. And we just want to have a good time with you guys. I know Fidel for sure wants to have a good time with everyone, each and one of y'all on the chat, and talk about whatever soccer team y'all want to talk about. But with that being said, Fidel, is there anything you want to say before we go?
Nah, man, just give us a subscribe, give us a like, and just show some love, and we'll be back next week. Let us know.
Yeah. Yeah, guys, for sure. Oh, and follow us on Twitter, man, at La Banca _podcast. Obviously, we keep up with all the news that's going around the world in soccer, whether it's transfers, whether it's, something stupid that a player does out there, or just celebrating something, a milestone or something like that.
That's
So,
right.
guys, obviously, follow us at La Banca podcast, at the Banca _podcast on Twitter. And, subscribe to the channel, like Fidel said. And guys, we appreciate you. And we are grateful to have you here. And we're looking forward to a good season 2. And see you next Thursday for sure. So, out.
Let's go.